Apes, together, strong. Welcome to the dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I'm back from just got out of dawn Planet of the Apes not more than maybe an hour and a half ago. I'm doing this at home. Keeping it down a little bit because my folks are sleeping upstairs. Everyone's asleep. It's late. It's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning right now. Yeah, I just got out of dawn to Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I was looking forward to this movie. This was definitely one of the higher points of movies, I guess that makes sense. One of the movies I was more looking forward to than some of the rest of the stuff coming out this year. What did I think of it? Uh, this movie's been getting a lot of praise. A lot. And it is not unwarranted. This movie was great. I blew my expectations out of the water. Um, yeah, this is a sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes. For anyone who doesn't know that, I don't know who wouldn't know that. But no, it takes place. The story takes place 10 years after the events of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, where the virus that was created in the first one has spread, has killed off a good portion of the world, or human population anyway. I think they never explain how many species are actually immune, or humans, ironically, are the only ones who are actually really susceptible to the simian flu, as they dubbed it. But yeah, no. Um, no, and it takes place after that, and we see that Caesar and the apes have established a society in those 10 years. They've raised a group. It's a family structure. It's a village. It's a town. It's a village. They hunt. They gather. They live together. Caesar has a wife. Caesar has a kid. He's got two kids actually, and they think humans are gone, and then of course you find out there are humans in the world again, and the tensions ensue. Um, yeah, no, oh man, I don't know where to start with this. This movie was honestly not what I thought it was going to. I mean, it was kind of what I thought it was going to be. It was as the title says, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where apes are rising to power, and where we kind of started in the original Planet of the Apes, except not. Um, because let's be clear, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes are retellings of the Planet of the Apes story. They are not remake. They're remakes, but they're not shot by shot, story by story. No, excuse me. Oh, that movie's not good. Comes back on here. They are not. It's not like King Kong where it was nearly shot by shot remake, or Psycho where it was shot by shot remake. No, these are retellings of these stories. So they're not going to lead into the events of Charlton Heston showing up at the Planet of the Apes. That's not going to happen. Um, no, everything about this movie was amazing. I'll start with the characters. The characters, first and foremost, the, Andy Serkis needs to win an Oscar or an Academy Award at some point. That just needs to happen because he is, my God, one of the greatest. Well, first off, he is the greatest motion capture artist in the business to date. I don't think I can think of anyone. If you can think of someone, please let me know. Someone who is a well-known motion capture artist before Andy Serkis came on scene. Because Andy Serkis, my God, is this man giving a performance? Caesar. If you thought Caesar in the first movie was good, this Caesar just blows it out of the water. This Caesar is intense, but he's not unreasonable. He is intelligent. Honestly, in some cases, he's almost sophisticated. He is human while being the ape. He has all those qualities put together. There are scenes where he he's like he's just being so intimidating. But the moment he goes to his family, sees his wife on the floor, just like sick and holding her son and stuff like that after giving birth, he just so softens up and just is so gentle with his family and the people and the ones he loves. And yet other times where someone's standing against Caesar, he literally just stands up and they're all like, "Oh, uh, sorry," and Caesar just gives him the look like, Or she'd be like, ugh. And Caesar's intimidating. Half the apes are intimidating as shit in this movie. There's like several main apes. Caesar is by far most of the main one, but another one who was in the original called Koba. He's that ape you see in the first Rise of the Planets, who's the scarred one that all the ones experimented on. He is a very prevalent role in this. I put spoilers in the title so you know, so I'm going to spoil some. He is actually the reason for the war. Because he is one of the apes who can't trust humans to the point where he starts a fucking war. He killed humans. He basically lied just so they'll go to war with humans. Because he thinks, they'll come after the apes, and he's just like, no, maybe we can live together. If not, we'll just stay away from them. And he's like, no, it's coming. The war will come. And the comic book nerd in me, while watching this, immediately likened it to this. Koba, as he's called, is the Magneto Eric Luncher to Caesar's Xavier. Because Caesar is perfectly content with them living by themselves, but if there could be a peace between them, he will go for that peace. He will try to establish that peace. And Koba is Magneto. He thinks that the apes are better than people, and he will strike at the people before they strike at the apes. And my God, does he lead them into a blood-soaked onslaught. Oh man, body counts rise in this movie. Both human and ape. My God, the scene you see where they're charging on horseback with guns. Well, first off, we see apes on horses immediately in the beginning of the movie. We actually don't see any human characters until like 20 minutes into the movie. It's actually apes for the first 20 minutes, which is perfectly cool. We see the scene you see them are just riding on horseback, firing the guns. They're not the only ones firing the guns. The humans are firing back. They got fucking rocket launchers, for God's sake. M40s. Fucking, AK-47s, the whole shebang. Oh, man. Body counts rise. Fucking flaming tires of gasoline. Or flaming a barrel of gasoline. Oh, man. There's fucking chimps running around on fire. It's fucking crazy. It's awesome. It's dark. It's intense. Cobras are fucking scary character. You see, I think, in one of the trailers where he's kind of like messing with the humans, like, oh, look, I'm a funny chimp. I'm a funny chimp. And he steals a gun and then just shoots one dead. And he shoots the other dead. He's just got this menacing grin. I'm not even joking. Think of that, but with a chimp and their really messed up canines. And scars all over his fucking face. That's a creepy ass image. He was an intense character. And the main human characters, Jason Clarke plays Malcolm. He's the guy you see in the beginning who's like, I need to talk to Caesar. It's really good. He's a solid performance. You feel the relationship build between him and Caesar and the apes who actually trust Caesar. Most of the apes trust Caesar. Koba just comes in and kind of asserts his dominance by shooting him, trying to shoot him dead and failing. And then that leads to a great confrontation. Oh my God, that fight at the end with Caesar and Koba. Oh my God, that got brutal. That got fucking brutal as hell. Koba gets injured in the side, and Caesar, fighting smart because he's still injured, just repeatedly hits him, and the wound just every time. I'm just like, oh, 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 oh. And something about this I thought was amazing that I would probably say is one of the minor problems I have with the first one, is that in the first one, generally speaking, the effects look great. But I could still kind of tell they were effects a good portion of the time. Half the time they weren't that bad, or not that I believe into it. In this one, I didn't see any effect. I saw effects. I knew it in my head that they were effects. But it didn't matter because it's like watching Gollum in Lord of the Rings. These characters are so complex and so rich that I did not see them as effects. I saw the character and they were there. Granted, with one or two minor exceptions. Like there was one or two scenes where I'm just like, if I I stopped and actually looked at it like more than a few seconds and kind of, for some reason, got my head out of the movie. Don't know why I did that because I noticed it was a green screen effect after that. Yeah, it's like it's a minor. That's I'm not even gonna complain about that because that was my own fucking fault for just for some reason paying too much attention to it. Um, Gary Oldman is Gary Oldman's Gary Oldman. He's fucking great. Because the whole point of the humans finding the apes actually is because the apes are living in the like fuck I can't remember where they're in California I believe, and they're up kind of in the redwood area, redwood forest area. And there's a dam up there that's going to help generate electricity because they're the electricity, and that's why they come into contact with each other. And Gary Oldman is basically the leader of this small community now, and he's just trying to keep things together. And they get power back, and then just like you see him, Gary Oldman, even when he's given a supporting role, and he is a supporting role, he's not even a main character. He's not even the bad guy. The trailers make him out to be the bad guy. He's not the bad guy at all. He's just a guy trying to, live. He was even content with letting the apes live by themselves. It was fucking Koba. If anything, Koba is the bad guy here. And you know what? He's a justified bad guy in a lot of ways because he is someone who has seen the horrors of humanity, and he can't trust humans because of it. And you see that, and you understand it, and you can understand why he accepted it. And you accept it. You don't agree with it because it leads to this shit. But you understand that. But you understand Caesar's point of view. You understand all the points of view here. And now Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is just a character. Just like he didn't. He was willing to kill the apes just to get to the power, but he chose to believe Malcolm, the Jason Clarke character, and it worked, and power came back. He's like, okay, and then you see him looking at this tablet that was left over, recharging. It had his family on it that was killed by flea, and you see him go through a series of like 17 emotions at once. I'm exaggerating, but several emotions at once. Just seems just like reminiscing, and you see him smile, and he just breaks down and cries. There's some rage in there too. It's just Gary Oldman, even when he is at such a minor level, with the exception of a few things like Lost in Space and Quest for Camelot, is bar none one of the greatest actors around. And my cat is freaking out right now. If you hear it. By the way, if you have a little trouble hearing me, I do the air conditioner is on. I can't turn it off just because random because they need the air conditioning or something like that. What can I really say? I mean, the direction of this, I didn't know where this movie was going. I really didn't. Because they throw curveballs all over the place. For instance, Koba turning against Caesar's one. Though, when they first show up, the humans in the forest where the apes are, one of the humans shoots him because he's an idiot. He's an ass. He's the guy you see in the chair asking, "It's not the apes' fault. Shouldn't be his." Like, who the fuck do you want me to blame? It's like, you're right, but it's like, don't give me that hippie bullshit about the creative scientists. It's not hippie bullshit. It's not the apes' fault, you asshole. You're just angry. Stop being a dick. And then he stopped being a dick when Cobus beat his brains in. But, no, crap, I just lost my, oh no, yeah. Some of the ways that this movie went, particularly how the relationship between Caesar and some of the more reasonable apes were going on, was really well done. But particularly the interaction between the entire human society and the ape society was really intense at points. Probably it has to be my favorite scene in this entire movie. Is actually probably only about maybe not even a third of the way in, when the humans are there, and then they Caesar's just like, go, and I'll stop that right there. That was another thing that was interesting. When we first meet them, they're all doing sign language that Caesar has taught them and has now gone throughout the community. But then when the humans show up, we see that Caesar shouts for them to go, and it's like, okay, he's talking, and then Koba shouts to go, and then Caesar's son starts to shouts go or talks later on, and It's an interesting way because they did that because half the time the apes are doing sign language, and other time they are in fact talking to each other, but it's a very gruff, basic dialect. Caesar can communicate with people and all that, but he does that normally with people. But he also does it with the apes, especially when he's trying to make a point. When he actually screams the word he's trying to say at, that's when the apes know Caesar's really serious on this topic. But no, my favorite, my entire favorite scene in this movie, bar none, has to be, um, they go back to basically their the city, and they're explaining to Gary Oldman's character what they saw and all that, and the apes are basically just like war. It's like, and Koba's just, and this is earlier on when Koba and him are still friends. We need to show them our strength. What, talking about war and showing them strength is like, and Caesar being Caesar, just like, we will show them our strength. And then we slowly start to see them walking into the city. It's Gary Oldman and them go up to like the balcony of where they are, and they look out onto the entire city block, and the entire city block is like this giant wave of chimps and orangutans and gorillas, just this wall of apes, half of them on horses. Just there, like you should. Yeah. I was just laughing in my seat because it was just fucking pure awesomeness. Because they make it, this is like, how many did you see? 80 is like, that's a hell of a lot more than 80. You wanted to show your strength. You fucking showed your strength. Oh man, I could go on and on about this, but then this would be really far too long, far more longer than I wanted to be. Um, but the effects are good. The story's good. The the dramatic scenes in this movie, because this is not really an action movie, even though there's plenty of action in it. This is a really compelling story that's going on here, because we're seeing the plight of these characters, and we're seeing the faults of man play out, not just in man itself, but in what man has basically created. And Caesar has a good line say, he used to think apes are better, but not much different from humans. It's like, because, yeah, we share 98% of our DNA with chimps, folks. The chimps and gorillas and orangutans. In fact, I think we even share maybe a bit more of our DNA with orangutans than we do chimpanzees. Because orangutans are, I believe, the smartest of the apes. I believe. I could be wrong in that assessment. I used to have a lot of knowledge on animals, but now, and I still have above average, but I could be wrong in that regard. But still, really good. The dramatic moments in this movie are beautiful at points and intense in others. It runs the gamut of emotions in this movie. It really is, because you even laugh at a few points. Because there are a few subtle hints of humor in here that help us breathe in some of these moments. Um, I can't really say much else without really just ranting and raving, going scene by scene, which would just be boring. So yeah, what my final thoughts on this before I go into trailers. I really love this movie. It is I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie of the year. I think that distinction. I don't know. I'll probably end up doing like a top something list at some point. Right now, it is either as still X-Men Days of Future Past or Captain America 2. But this is coming in at either number 2 or 3 when I really start to think things over, like at the end of the year, or at least at the end of the summer. I'm giving this movie. I'm giving it a 9. If maybe not, maybe a 9.5. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is not because I think I give out too many 10s. Not completely. But it's not really because of that. The only reason I'm not giving it a full on 10, I'm giving it a 9. I'm going to say I'm giving it a 9.5. The only reason I'm not giving it a full on 10, and I want to try to word this right, is because the few times that I got distracted out of the movie, I was able to get back into the movie, but I shouldn't have been distracted to begin with. The few times the effects were were noticeably being effects took me out, but it was so rare and few that didn't matter much. Um, I like the setup for this, and I do like the ending. I do feel it could have gone a different route, which is perfectly fine too. Because as the title called Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, this is not the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is still the battle. You know, this is technically the remake of Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And yeah, this is more Battle of the Planet of the Apes than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I think that title is a little misleading, in all honesty. So yeah, I'm giving it a 9.5 because of that. I feel like this title is just slightly misleading on how this film plays out, but that does not take away at all from how amazing this film really was. Because I'm giving it a 9.9 or 9.5. So yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Trailers real quick. Let's see. I had 3 new trailers. Three. First one I got was the trailer, which I would have actually talked about for movie news this week, but I actually got the trailer, so I can talk about it now. Exodus, Gods and Kings. This is it's a retelling of the story of Moses and Ramesses, with Christian Bale as Moses. I believe it stars Ben Kingsley and Sigourney Weaver as well. I don't know who plays Ramesses off the top of my head. I'm sure they said it in the credits. What did I think of it? There's been a little judgment, I guess would be a good term, about the whitewashing of this movie. Christian Bale, Sigourney Weaver, Ben Kingsley, they're all white people playing Egyptians. Talent's talent. First off, let's get that out of the way. All of them are solid fucking actors, and my cat is losing her mind right now. All of them are great actors. Ben Kingsley and Christian Bale, particularly, Christian is great too, but those two, that's just you're getting quality for your film there. But you take the whitewashing. Whitewashing only matters to me if you were getting a bunch of like Asian people to play slaves in 12 Years a Slave, that would be an issue. Like the casting of Johnny Depp for Tonto, that I find is a kind of an insulting form of whitewashing. That one I will give it. Avatar: The Last Airbender, I don't did whitewash in parts, but that was more just they didn't do the races correctly in general, so I can't really complain about that as whitewashing. It doesn't bother me in this case. It doesn't bother me usually when they whitewash, as long as the actor is credible and can play their part right. In this case, it looks good. Ridley Scott's been a little hit and miss lately. I like Prometheus. I personally like Prometheus. I recognize it has some problems. Its continuity's a little iffy, but excuse me. I didn't see The Counselor. Um, I believe he did Kingdom of Heaven. I didn't see that either. I haven't seen a bit of Ridley Scott's work as of late. Some of his later work. I'm a big fan of his early work. Aliens, Blade Runner. I love all of that, this looks good. I mean, some of the effects look a little iffy, but I think they're supposed to. Almost Cecil B. DeMille, Ten Commandments style. Um, all around, no, it looks good. It's Christian Bale. I'll pretty much see anything with Christian Bale and Ben. Yeah, Ben Casey and Christian Bale. I'm down. Next one I got was The Maze Runner. I've seen this trailer once online. They have a poster for it in Cinemark. From what I can gather, it's based off a book. That much I know. I've never read the book. I don't know. I mean, the general plot seems to be these like teenagers. They seem to be anywhere between the ages of 14 to like early 20. Maybe 21 at latest, oldest. Sorry. Yeah, it's late, as you can tell. So, um, they live in this community that is basically walled off from the world, kind of. And there's this giant wall that opens up every morning to reveal a maze. And there's creatures in the maze for some reason. And there's clearly some higher power at work here that puts them in the maze for some reason, or makes them go into the maze for some reason, puts them in this community. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know if it's like robots or what. I haven't read the book. If you've read the book, you probably know what it is. I mean, I could Google it right now without. Because honestly, I want to see the movie, in all honesty, because it looks interesting. It looks like a decent young adult movie, whereas we're still trying to get into the era of actually a solid amount of good young adult films, because Twilight kind of killed that genre for a little bit, and we've only now started to get the emergence of movies like Divergence and their old saga, Hunger Games, and so forth. But no, it looks like a good, it looks like an all right movie. I'll give it a shot. It could be complete shit, but you know what? I'll go in, head held high, and then probably come out with my head hanging low. So, last trailer I got is Unbroken. It is based off the true story of holy. You know what? Hold on, just 1 second, because I actually do want to look this up on who this actually was about. Okay, let me see here. Give me just 1 second. Beauty of doing, as always, I sometimes say this. Beauty of doing this, I am actually on my computer, so I can look these things up. Let me see here. Okay, the movie was Broken. It's being directed by Angelina Jolie, who I have not actually seen some of the things Angelina Jolie has done, and my cat just knocked over the. What? My cat's freaking out. Uh, on yeah, I have not seen all of Angelina Jolie's directing work, but from what I understand, she is actually a very competent actor, or she is a competent actress, but she's a competent director. Let's see, Unbroken. Okay, Unbroken is telling the realized story of. I believe he was a soldier. He's a athlete. I think my cat is getting into the catnip, so I'm going to have to get off really soon. Or screw it, I'll just let her get high on the floor and let her teach her a lesson that way. Let's see, Unbroken is there we go. Unbroken is chronicling Louis Zamperini. I could be mispronouncing that name terribly, and I apologize for that. It's chronicling Louis Zamperini, who's an Olympic runner who was taken prisoner by Japanese forces during World War II. They're chronicling the real story of him. Real story. Obviously, there's going to be some liberties. Still, though, it's a real story of this guy who, by all definition, is pretty much a true American hero. He is a man who was picked on as a kid. He grew up and he became an Olympic gold medalist in running. He went to war. He served his country, and then he was put into an internment camp and beaten the hell out of. He survived on a raft for 47 days at sea before being put into the internment camp. This man was a badass dude. Apparently, he actually recently just passed away about like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you know what? I will, by all means, take a look at this because I will fully admit, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear about this guy until right now, until a couple days ago, and I kind of feel bad about not doing it because he is one of those people who you're talking about an American hero. That's an American hero. We need to learn more about our country's real patriots and what they've gone through and the people who have inspired and things like that. Because if we forget those people, what are we? We are kind of what some of the other countries will then think us to be, and that's don't give them that satisfaction. Let them know that we are more than what they think we are. So yeah, that's all the new ones I got. I got the Fury. Well, I talked about that Transformers review with Mark. So when that comes up, you'll hear my thoughts on that. Real quick, I guess on Fury then. That's the Brad Pitt World War II one. I believe it's also based on a true story about the Tank Brigade. Looks really good. Looks intense. Brad Pitt looks like he's going to be on his fucking A game. It's got Shia LaBeouf, which I give Shia LaBeouf for some crap a lot. If he's put in the right role, I'm sure he can be fine, and I'll go into this with an open mind. Hopefully, he'll be great. So yeah, I didn't get anything else new. You know what? One trailer I'm tired of getting though is the world's most wanted man or something like that with Philip Seymour Hoffman. I get it. The man died. It was tragic. Stop fucking pushing the movie so much. I'm sick of seeing that trailer. I will see the movie because it looks good, but stop it. So yeah, that's all I got. You can tell I'm going hoarse. I had to keep my voice down. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. This went on for a little longer than I intended, about a half hour or so, as you can see. But like, comment, subscribe. If you liked us, you think your friends like us, by all means recommend us. We appreciate it. I'm not quite sure what next week's is. Next week is the 18th. So is it Hercules next week? No, I don't think it's Hercules next week. I'll have to check what next week's is. I'm tired. I'll probably tell you what I'm going to see next week on movie news this week. I'll probably post that out on Saturday or so. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I'll see you next time. Later, folks, and good night.